All right, so what I wanted to go over today was social learning theory, but reacting to a different film. I wanted to react to one of my favorite films of all time, Good Will Hunting, and explain how there's some social learning or social cognitive theory going on in the famous bar scene, the "My boy's wicked smart" scene.
Oh, this is a Hobbit bar, huh? I thought there'd be like equations and shit on the walls.
All right, so already there's a sense of him trying to view, you learn through observation about what is all right here. This also goes into socialization. Through what we learn, we are trying to figure out where our norms and values kind of ally in the sociology standpoint. So he is observing his behavior, observing those around him to kind of figure out where he fits in. And he's going to ignore all of these, but he is learning about what should be done.
I will take a pitcher of the finest lager in the house.
Time out. I'm gonna have to bust a little move on them Hobbit honeys down the end of the bar. Work some magic. Get some pussy, Buster.
All right, so this whole thing about going into a bar and hitting on people, he is first of all going for some reciprocal determinism by going through his friends and saying that like, hey, I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna go towards them, kind of looking for some reinforcement from them, and he got the positive reinforcement, so he's going. Furthermore, he's in a proper environment. The environment is a bar, so he wants to go over and try to pick up some women. His social efficacy right now, which is the degree he believes that he can actually succeed, is super high, which will create some resilience, self-efficacy. Even if he fails, he's not going to change his mentality. This is the kind of guy who will probably go into a bar and try to pick someone up every time he goes in because he's already had enough successes where his probably failures aren't going to outweigh the other one. Furthermore, his outcome expectation here is he is going to appear very suave and he's going to try to use the environment to help out.
Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Hi, how are you?
Fine.
So do you ladies,
Come here often?
do I come here? I come here a bit. I'm here, from time to time. Do you go to school here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So I think I had a class with you.
Oh yeah? What class?
History.
So his friends are now looking at him, trying to do their own social learning. They're either going to receive some vicarious reinforcement, and hey, this works, or vicarious punishment through him saying, maybe we shouldn't be trying this. This is new ground for a lot of them, especially because these are Harvard individuals, and they came in knowing that they did not really interact with these type of people that often. He is kind of going through there's a thing in sociology called the looking glass theory by Charles Cooley, which says first thing you do is you imagine what you want to do, then you imagine how you appear to others, which goes hand in hand with social learning theory, right? But I'm looking at as if I was in the situation. What are they seeing me as? So he's going to say, I go to school here. I'm really smart. They're going to see me as really impressive. That outcome expectation again. He has an incentive here. He knows what he wants to do in this conversation.
Maybe.
Yes, I think that's what it was. You don't necessarily might not remember me. You know, I like it here. It doesn't mean because I go here I'm a genius. I am very smart. Hey, how's it?
The I am very smart line. I'm very smart. So good. He's again putting up this a front of like I need to act kind of like low down, and I've noticed this through other people that like, hey, people like people are more humble, but I'm trying to present that I'm very, 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 very smart in the situation. Now this guy's also going to have this similar reaction. He has a incentive going in. He wants to make a fool of this person to appear smart in some way. Once again, he has an outcome expectation. He's learned that he knows a lot. And he's figured out this guy is kind of full of it. So he is using the peer influences around him to make a fool out of Ben Affleck here.
How's it going? How are
Good,
you?
how you doing?
You want it?
What class did you say that was?
History. Yeah.
Just history? It must have been a survey course then, huh?
Yeah, it was. It was surveys.
Surveys, yeah.
Check it out. It's a good course. It's a pretty good class.
How'd you like that course?
You know, frankly, I found the class, rather elementary.
Now, Matt Damon's face there is he's getting some vicarious punishment. He's kind of looking at his friend and he's going, "This is failing," and he notices what this guy is doing and hurting the situation. Now he's going to make a decision of what to do. There's definitely some imitation going on. He is trying to imitate a role model of a smart Harvard individual, but say he's going to a history class. It's a good course, by the way. I teach that course. Great class. And he's trying to make a fool out of him in this situation, trying to get that his incentive here is to get him away from these other two women.
Elementary. You know, I don't doubt that it was. I remember that class. It was just between recess and lunch.
Now, his friends there, going back for a second, they're watching him. They're learning from him. They are observing his behavior in a social learning sense. Now, when he said that, they realized he dissed them. So there's some vicarious reinforcement going on. They're going to feel empowered to kind of throw their intelligence around in the future. They're kind of in a they're not the ones stepping up. So in their zone of proximal development, they're kind of looking to him right now to be a role model, to role model this like very intellectual behavior. To them, they're seeing him as this like this kind of like leader who's using his knowledge in a very smart way to kind of like throw it around. And this small, I don't know, Harvard posse here want that to happen. So they are on his side in this case.
Clark, why don't you go away?
Why don't you relax?
Why not go away?
I'm just having fun with my new friend, that's all.
Wait, we could have a problem?
No,
I don't understand.
no. There's no problem here. I was just hoping you might give me some insight into the evolution of the market economy in the southern colonies.
So here, he has a strong outcome expectation of what he thinks is going to happen. He thinks he's going to flounder. He's going to make a fool. Ideally, he probably wants him to leave so he can appear smarter. He probably views him as like an outsider in this bar, and he's learned about he's observed behaviors and he's observed the difference between people who are probably Harvard students and people who are not Harvard students.
My contention is that prior to the Revolutionary War, the economic modalities, especially in the southern colonies, could most aptly be characterized as agrarian
Free
Of
capitalist.
course that's your
Hang on a
contention.
second.
You're a first-year grad student. You just got finished reading some Marxian historian, Pete Garrison, probably.
So here he's decided to step in. He's decided that there is an opportunity to come in, and his self-efficacy, Matt Damon's right now, is he realized what's happening. He realized he's reciting things, so he believes this is going to succeed. He's observed people like this before, and he's observed first-year grad students. You can tell by his line of, "Well, you've read this book. You must have read that book by observing these other role models. By in the case of these models of individuals who have had these degrees, are able to recite that information. Generally, he realizes he's not actually able to form a thought.
You're going to be convinced of that till next month when you get to James Lemon. Then you're going to be talking about how the economies of Virginia and Pennsylvania were entrepreneurial and capitalist way back in 1740. That's going to last until next year. You're going to be in here regurgitating Gordon Wood, talking about, you know, the pre-revolutionary utopia and the capital-forming effects of military mobilization.
Well, as a matter of fact, I won't, because Wood drastically underestimates the impact
Wood
of social...
drastically underestimates the impact of social distinctions predicated upon wealth, especially inherited wealth. You got that from Vickers.
So here, we got some of that vicarious punishment. They are kind of learning a behavior. They're looking at a role model and they're realizing where mastery kind of really lies. And in reality, it's lying a lot with Matt Damon over here. They are socialized to believe they're generally smarter and they should be a person who's from a group below them, at least in the standards of their Harvard grad students, and there's other people there. The mentality was probably we're the intelligent group and they're not. So this is kind of challenging their social worldview. You can tell by her face here.
Work in Essex County, page 98, right? Yeah, I read that too. Were you going to plagiarize the whole thing for us? Do you have any thoughts of your own on this matter? Or is that your thing? You come into a bar, you read some obscure passage, and then pretend you pawn it off as your own idea just to impress some girls? Embarrass my friend?
So I want to talk about this jerk character here. I want to relate it to Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. The first thing we kind of do is we find a role model and we try to imitate that, right? So this model in this case is these philosophers, Gordon Wood or Vickers or people like that. He is going to regurgitate that information. Now he hasn't reached the state where he can do this on his own. He can't summarize all these concepts into his own ideology. So while he understands the concept, and any teacher might say, yes, he has achieved fully on the other side over here. If we're talking about critical thinking and the ability to kind of like think for yourself and take opinions of others and then really formulate your own point of view, he's kind of not there yet. He still needs this scaffolding set up. While Matt Damon's character here has read all this information, he's learned what he is, and now he's achieved critical thinking. So we're testing critical thinking. This jerk character here is still in his can do it with some scaffolding, the scaffolding from books and these other authors' own words, while Matt Damon can kind of form an opinion on the Southern economies during the time period. Doesn't say his opinion, but he can clearly formulate his own here.
See, the sad thing about a guy like you is in 50 years, you're gonna start doing some thinking on your own, and you're gonna come up with the fact that there are two certainties in life. One, don't do that. And two, you dropped 150 grand on a fucking education you could have got for $1.50 in late charges at the public library.
Yeah, but I will have a degree. And you'll be serving my kids fries at a drive-thru on our way to a skiing trip.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but at least I won't be unoriginal. But I mean, if you have a problem like that, I mean, we could just step outside. We could figure it out.
So also here, eventually there's going to be some inhibition effect here. He's learned through observing, and these guys also have the same observation. They're going to realize maybe we shouldn't try to make a fool out of random people on bars because it goes poorly, and it went very, very poorly this time. Now, it's similar to behaviorism in that regard, but it's very different as you're learning from the observed behaviors and kind of forming your own by viewing role models and people in certain situations to kind of form your own beliefs.
Oh man, there's no problem.
It's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, cool. Fucking damn right it's cool. How you like me now? My boy's wicked smart.
So yeah, I just wanted to go over that. Once again, the social learning is all about viewing the situation, just as the kids, the viewing people punch the Bobo doll and then them being more aggressive later. These guys have learned that behavior to kind of show their intelligence because it's probably worked for them in the past. In this case, they're kind of getting another observation into them. Maybe they can kind of view as them being jerkish or unkind. And there will be some kind of learning that has gone on in the situation by observing a different role model by the other people there, not the jerk and the guy, but the other people saying, well, maybe that guy's right. Maybe he has a point about what he's saying. Anyway, that is Good Will Hunting. Last thing I'll say is my boy is wicked smart. Thank you.